In a previous video called Advanced Air Manager Panels, I discussed ways to incorporate external windows from simulators into Air Manager panels. Specifically, I talked about using the G430, 530, and the Garmin G1000 windows from X-Plane in Air Manager panels, allowing them to show through transparent openings in the panel. If you saw those videos, you know it wasn't all that easy and there was some special tricks required to get it to work. The good news is that's all behind us now with the new version of Air Manager. So I'd quickly like to go over some of the changes to Air Manager 3 that come with 3.5 to give you an idea. You can read the wiki, and there's a complete list of every detailed change and addition, improvement, and so on. But there's some that I just wanted to point out before I get to the part at the end where I want to show you a little bit more about building these panels and how to get around some of the difficulties that we faced before 3.5. 3.5 is a free upgrade for anyone who's upgraded already to 3.0 or higher. You'll just get a prompt on startup to accept it, download it, and install it. Shouldn't affect any of your files that are already installed. Looking at the settings page, you can see it's now been added language localization for a number of foreign languages, thanks to the hard work of many Air Manager users who helped convert this the application to their native languages. Not a lot else except down here at the graphics. You notice there's a new pop-up that says automatic at default, and it has the choices of DirectX 11 and OpenGL 2.0. On Mac, I think it offers the metal also. That should give increased graphics performance, and it also allows us to do some things like transparency and click-through on the panels that was not available starting with 3.0, and we've recovered some real nice features there, and I'll show you at the end how those work. There's several changes for those who are a little bit deeper into Air Manager. I'll quickly cover them, just some of the highlights of things that have changed to the programming API for your Logic Lua scripts. Of course, Canvas drawing now allows you to fill shapes. You can now fill the objects with a bitmap. You can also rotate objects in the canvas, which is greatly useful, especially as we start to build nav displays and so on, as the nav database comes along in the version 4.0. Also now the text object allows for vertical alignment as well as the horizontal alignment. There's addition of the ability to work with static data files, supporting JSON, CSV, and text files. I think probably in prep for the database coming up, we're going to be handling a lot more data, and people are going to want to introduce some data of their own into their instruments. We also now have the ability to remove images while the program's operating. Before, once you introduced an image, it was pretty much locked in there until you shut down and waste a lot of memory. As images get larger and larger, I anticipate that maybe with the nav database there's going to be some larger images. On the hardware side, for Arduino especially, there's some improvements. Micro and Leonardo's are now supported. The ability now to name hardware, to refer to hardware by name instead of by type and pin number and so on. It was quite cumbersome the way it was before, and that still works, but now you can name a piece of hardware like ignition switch and tell it how many pins there are, and then refer to those pins and set those in the settings. So it'll be able to make an instrument that's much more easy for end users to connect to hardware without having to do a lot of programming. Stepper motors are now supported. That's great for cockpit builders. Also, the HD 44780 character displays are now supported. Those were very popular for cockpit builders, and those have been now supported by Air Manager. The other thing, I'll click over to the Create Edit tab and show you there's a change to the it's not necessarily really obvious at first till you look at it, But originally, I'm going to open an instrument here just to give us something to look at. And you can see now there's a code editor. Now remember, if you think, it used to have just the console on the left and the subscriptions on the right, where you could look at subscriptions to data and also their user properties. Well, now the code editor, and this is a fully featured code editor. It's not quite Notepad++ yet, but it has some nice features. And one feature it does have that's not in Notepad++ is the ability to create breakpoints. It's got a built-in debugger. So you can click in that little column there and create a breakpoint, and then with the little VCR controls at the top here, you can pause and resume execution. In the window, the console window, you can, except for the console tab, you can click on the variables tab and the watch tab and the call stack tab and monitor that operation of that variables and so on without having to use a million print statements and adding and removing those as you're developing. So a little bit in the weeds there, but this is an improvement that's going to be great in the long run, and I'm sure this is going to continue to evolve as time goes on. It has some shortcomings compared to Notepad++, but the debugger certainly makes it useful, and there's nothing to say you can't use both at the same time and jump back and forth. So now I'd like to look at a little bit about how the Create tab has changed with respect to panels. So in case you haven't noticed already, up here there's two radios, a new radio button set that says Instruments and Panels. Before we had instruments listed over here, and that was it. Now we have the ability to click Panels, and then we can have panels stored over here. And these panels are, think of them as layouts that can be shared with other people. So you can export those to send to other people. They get sent out in a file called a .siff file, a Sim Innovations flight file format, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what it stands for. But anyway, if we go to the Panels tab and we click New Panel and we say Pre-made Panels, we go down here and we see there's some new files that have been added by Sim Innovations. One is the Cirrus Sf50. I actually happen to have built this file because I really like flying that little Cirrus single engine jet around. So if you click that and click Next and say Add, you can see that is suddenly loaded up, all the instruments involved with that. And then if we open that, and we're going to go first. Let me scroll down here and show you some changes. First of all, you can. This is all the same. You can pick the display. You can size the window. Now here it says locked, always on top. Click through, and I'm not going to turn those on right now because I want to. Well, I'll leave it locked, but I'm going to not put always on top. We won't use click through on this one, and I'm going to show you how to position the GPS or the G1000s into this panel from X-Plane. And then you can see it uses a layout and it's set for a transparent background. Now let me open this up and show you what we have here. And on the little light bulb here, we'll open that up. And you can see there's transparent areas. Now if I click on that, you notice nothing happens because click through is not turned on. But you can see the desktop is below there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to X-Plane and we're going to pop out those windows and then drag them over and reposition them. So let's come over to the other monitor and show you how to pop these out. Now you just click on the display and it pops out a window. Now these windows have already had the bezel removed. I did another video on that. It just has, you have to change a file in Air Manager's bitmaps for this so that it gets with a transparent image so that goes away. But the trick is up here. You see in the upper right hand corner, first of all, the bottom, when it looks like a hand, you can drag. And in the upper, you see the finger. There's a little thing that pops up there. And when you click on that, it pops it out. And now you see there's a area where you can drag it. You come down here at the bottom, and when it turns to that, I try to make it small. And then I'm going to drag it by this thing over onto the other monitor. Now we'll do the same thing for the the MFD. That one's even bigger. I'm going to click up here. You can see that what I'm seeing there, that little icon. Click that, and I grab the bottom here and make it small so that I can get it on the other monitor and resize it. I'm going to drag that one over. And now I'm going to take this top one and pull it up to the, line it up with the edge so that the white, because we don't want the white to show, it's going to be behind this bezel once we get it there. So as closely as we can align it, then we want to grab this bottom left and do it. You can do it in two ways. You can take it, do it sideways. This might be easier. Bring it over there and then grab the bottom and pull it down until it fills the space as closely as you can. Just teeny bit of overlap. Now we go over to this one and we take it up to the top left corner and get it about where we want it. And we'll take this and we'll set it for the right width. And you just got to play with this till you get it and take it down here and line it up. Okay, now these things are in position. They will stay, well, it looks like I need to come over just a little bit to the left here. So let's see if that, okay, so I think that's pretty close. Now if I click on this window, it's going to come to the top, and now you can see it's hidden. Now you can see on this one over here I need to go just a little bit more. What I can do is just close this panel and just try to drag this up just ever so little, and maybe bring the bottom down just a teeny hair. And then let's go back here and try to reopen the panel. We'll reopen the Cirrus panel. Oh, let's close it again. What I didn't do here is I might as well drag this out of the way so it can't block it. And then I will open it again, and I think we have it now. So now I can right click on the panel and click always on top, and now the panel is locked, so I can't move the panel. Whether I'm using my fingers or a mouse, I can't move the panel, and because there's no click through, I can't move that either. So everything is good. Now the cool thing is that X-Plane will remember this position, and unless you use these GPSs in a different position, every time you open X-Plane in any airplane that has the GPS, they will be in that same position. So the trick is to build all your panels so the GPSs are in the same position. And I will be posting, this file is already on, and we have a file for the Cessna 172 with the dual GPSs. And that will be posted there too. So you can see all the functions work. You can use the mouse or knobster to set things, and you have a really nice setup here. You got the flaps you can drag up and down, and it's all set. Parking brake and the start switches and all that stuff is set up to work with fingers or a mouse, and the knobster's a nice addition. So that's the Cirrus panel. Now you see how this transparency works, and one last thing I'd like to show you is how the click-through works. So we're back in the panels tab, and we're going to create a new panel by clicking the plus symbol panel and scroll down to find the Baron B58 Reality XP GTN 750 panel that we've added, and we will select the monitor that we want to use. We'll use monitor number 2. We've already positioned the GTN 750 pop-out window in the correct position so that when we open the panel it'll fit right into the opening. And we'll click next, and here we have a preview. You can see the white spot, that's where the transparent area is, and we have the list of our instruments. Let's scroll down here and look at the settings. Of course, it's monitor number 2, display number 2 is selected, and you can see where it says do not show panel. That's for instruments like hardware instruments. That's added in this new version. Now we are going to check click through, also locked and always on top. And then we'll scroll on down here. You can see that the background is transparent and the layout image is the image that's included in the file. So let's go ahead and click on the light bulb to show the panel. As the panel opens, you'll see that it perfectly frames the GTN 750. And of course all the instruments work just fine. We can advance the power and you can see the instruments react. Everything's working live. And change frequencies. Of course this is not a touch monitor, but any touch monitor would work. But as you see, I can click through. We can click through that that opening and manipulate the GTN 750. And it works great since it's a touch screen. If you have a touch monitor, instead of using the mouse, you can touch this with your finger and it operates just like the real thing. So it's an awesome way to simulate the GTN 750. So there are some of the main points of Air Manager 3.5. I think it's well worth making the upgrade, especially if you want to try some of these transparency or click-throughs to take advantage of some windows, either from X-Plane or Prepared or FSX. An easy way to bring some realism into the cockpit without having to build very complex instruments. A few other things I've been working on. We have a little dual GPS setup for the Skyhawk on X-Plane, using the same technique, using the pop-up windows to bring the two GPSs into the screen. I've also been working on a Beech Duke cockpit for a friend of mine who has this specific airplane. Finally, I'm working on a set of generic instruments using the user-defined instruments I discussed in a previous video. I've developed a set that includes just about every kind of engine and instruments you need. I'm going to try to get some additional instruments added to this before I release them onto the community store. But you can see I've got pretty much all the instruments for turbine, turboprop, turbojet, and reciprocating engines, and trying to create a matching set with bezels that'll fit together. Of course, all the user arcs and the graduations and the start angles, stop angles on the scales, all that stuff is adjustable just by using user properties. So that's it for today. If you have any comments, leave them below. If you're not subscribed already and you'd like to continue to receive notifications, click the subscribe to add your name to the subscription list, and click the little notification bell if you'd like to get an email when I publish a new video. Thanks for checking this out, and I hope to see you again soon when I get a chance to post another video. Thanks a lot.